I lost $6,800 in one trade. What was I thinking? Today's video, we're going to go through my biggest red day of the year, which actually happened yesterday. Today I'm up $2,800, a little more than that, $2,850. So nice rebound today, but yesterday, man, $6,800 down the tube, getting stubborn, getting frustrated, not walking away on a small red day. I was triggered, okay? I was green on the day. I had really nice profits. I nailed the trade with big size, up $1,500 instantaneously on the day. I get in on a bad trade and I lose on it. I get stubborn on that trade too. I lose on it and I lose all my profits to minus 500 on the day. And I knew at that moment, I was triggered. I was angry. I just wanted to be green. And that is a huge trap to get into. And that's exactly the trap I fell into. Next thing I know, and sorry guys, I'm a little bit sick. That's also probably why I fell apart yesterday. Is I'm sick. There's other stuff going on, and so it's just like it all came to a perfect storm yesterday for a huge red day. And next thing you know, I'm in this stock that's selling off with zero buying pressure with 63,000 shares. It was $1.50 stock, but still 63,000 shares. What the heck? Anyway, I hold and hold and hold, and I'm thinking it's going to come up, and it never really ever did. I could have got out with a 1 or 2 penny loss, which would still have been, a $1,200 loss. So that would have been better, but I held it until the ship sank. So it was terrible. And then once it crashed on the way down, I was dumping 63,000 shares. The slippage was insane. The market, there wasn't even enough liquidity there. I was just pounding the stock, and it just dropped. And it was the right thing to do. It did curl up a little bit later in the day. At the very end of the day, it did curl up beyond my entry where I would have been green, probably $4,000 on it. But I mean, it was not feasible for me to hold 63,000 shares all day long. I had to cut it. I took the loss. It's not my biggest loss ever in a single day, but it sets me back big time. It destroys everything. Confidence is out the door. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. So we're going to go into my thinkorswim. I'm going to talk a little bit about the trade. It's just terrible. The key word is bear flag, low volume, below VWAP, too much size, frustration. Those are the key words that led to this huge, completely avoidable loss. Let's get that clear. Very avoidable. And, dare I say, welcome to trading. Welcome to trading. You can be good for a while. You can be disciplined for a while, but eventually, at least in my experience, you're going to slip up. And so it's not an excuse for what happened yesterday, but at some level, you have to take into account days where you may have been pushing it a little too much. You're trading with a little too much size and you get smoked. I mean, I don't think you can go your whole career without getting smoked at least once and big time smoked. Yesterday wasn't a big time smoke, but it's pretty close to a big time smoke. Pretty big loss. So I'm bummed about it. I'm sick. Barely green on the week. Luckily, I'm green on the week, about $1,000. So, looking back, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just when you think of it, I could be up 10,000 on the week, and instead I'm down to only up 1,000. And so it's just like, what was I thinking yesterday? I wasn't thinking. So frustrating, but I wanted to come on here at least to update you guys because I'm not going to hide on my red days. I'm not going to be one of those people. I don't recap all my days, but I do recap my bigger days, my big green days, and my big red days. And today was a big red day. Actually, yesterday was a big red day. Today was an average, $3,000, nice rebound. But I can't let this one slide. I got to make this a video. This will be good for the future to go back and to review this trade. It was a bozo trade. Stupid. I don't know why. There was no volume. It was, don't get me started. So anyways, let's get into my thinkorswim. This is the stock that I totally got obliterated on. And the sad part was at the start of the day, it wasn't the worst. I mean, I had a good trade on it. And I was up $1,500 on this spike here towards the open. Entry at about 210 up till 220, 10 cents with 18,000 shares or so. And so, I was up $1,500 and then it flushed. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just take the $1,500. And I was telling I was telling the members like, hey, probably should shut down. Nothing, the leading gapper is failing. It's selling off. This is selling. Everything's selling off. And I was like, to me, I was like ready to be done for the day. And I wish with all my might that I could go back in time, but I can't. And so, anyways, I decided to wait to catch, at least one more trade off the lows. And so the next trade I saw was right down here. We had a little bounce here, and then it broke down to $1.64, and then it got bought back up. And I'm like, ooh, that's good. We might get a reversal here. We might have room all the way back up to 212. So I punched another 18,000 shares here, maybe 20,000 at $1.72, and look what happens. It does not go up. And so I got stuck in the trade, and I refused to sell it until it broke down here, which I finally did sell it at $1.63. And that's when I went from up 1,500 on the day to down 500, and I was livid. I was absolutely livid, and I was banging my head on the desk. Looking back, it wasn't that big of a deal if I would have just cut it there, and I was thinking about cutting it. I was less than $500 red on the day. I was like 480 or something, and I sort of knew in my gut I should have cut it there and been done. But for some reason, I just decided that I'm going to try to do a crazy trade to try to make it all back in one trade. And so I was waiting and waiting, and this ended up popping up from $1.60 up to $1.76. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty nice recovery. And I'm beating myself on the head because I'm like, why was I not in for that? Not only did I sell for a huge loss down here at 162, it also curled all the way back up to 176, where I would have actually had some pretty decent profit, maybe $1,000 theoretically. So I'm like, all right, well, I missed that one, but I can line up for the next one. So I line up for another entry. I see this green candle right here, and this green candle starts forming, but I don't quite trust it. It ends up going from $1.58 all the way up to $1.66, and it happened fast too. So, there was no time to hesitate on that, and I hesitated and I missed that. And I actually sold for a little bit of a loss down here, and then I was down 750, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to miss the next one. So I'm waiting. I'm thinking about getting this, this flat top breakout type setup here. And I don't take any trades there. I take a trade down here when I see this bottoming tail. I'm like, all right, this is the one. 5 minute looks good. The 5 minute at the time was showing a green candle. I'm like, all right, we could see a quick snap back up to VWAP possibly, something crazy. So I load up right here 63,000 shares, and I'm holding. And at some point, looking back, I was up a penny or two. I was up $1,000 on the trade, but I was like, no, hold. The 5 minute looks good. This thing's gonna curl. We're gonna be big green on the day. Well, look at what happened. Boom, sold off, and I'm holding. I refuse to cut it. I should have cut it like right here when it started to roll here. I should have cut it. I didn't cut it because I was like, well, I'm in with 63,000 shares. It's a lot of slippage. So I didn't cut it. I'm holding down here. I'm down like $5,000 here. I'm like, well, I got to hold it. And anyways, it does come back up to $1.53, forms this little flat top on the 1 minute right here. And I'm thinking, all right, here we go, flat top. We're going to get some green volume in. I'm going to get out of this baby with at least a smaller loss because at this point, I'm $3,000 red. Anyways, as you can see here, boom, harsh rejection, and I sell as it comes down right through here. I'm selling on these two candles, 63,000 shares with slippage. I just got absolutely obliterated. And so this happened yesterday. By the way, today I'm up 2,800, but I just can't believe that I got so stubborn with it and I held for this long when it was obviously not working. I was trying to catch a pattern like this, and we didn't get it. We didn't get a pattern like this here. And I was sort of late on my entry too, so yeah, I could have caught some profit in there, but I bought too late, too much size, got too stubborn, and it happened. Well, the overall trade was a pretty long trade, but taking a loss right here was, it doesn't take long to lock up a pretty big loss. And so market's unforgiving, and I was getting sloppy with my trades lately, and I think this was just bound to happen, and I'm sort of glad it's done and over. I'm hoping that I'm going to come back and take the lesson and hopefully be better. It's frustrating. At the very least, I should have not been trading with that much size. I should have maybe taken 9,000 shares down there and maybe try to clean up my loss a little bit. But it just got overly aggressive on the wrong stock, on a stock below VWAP, on a stock that has terrible volume profile, There's not a single green candle bigger than a red candle here. It got rejected so hard up here. The whole market was selling off really that day, and it just wasn't the day to push it. So, anyways, that's my confession for you guys. Big loss yesterday. Only one way forward, and that is to keep trading and to try to be better next time. I can't quit. I can't. There's nothing I can do. It's over. It's done. So, uh, it's frustrating, but in some ways, this is how trading goes, and especially when you're pushing it and you're really being aggressive and you're going outside your comfort zone. It can be a painful lesson, and in some ways, a necessary lesson. So, with that said, guys, I'm gonna head out. Hopefully, you guys did good today. Hopefully, you guys did well yesterday, and hopefully, the market heats up and we can see some continued strength. So, with that said, guys, I'm gonna head out. Peace.